Okay, we're on air. It's Martin King from Ealing, Hammersmith and London College, and I'm here with our student cloud ambassadors, or student cloud consultants, the BluAcro group. There's two of them here today, and we're with Darren Smart from IG Services. Let me not introduce everybody too much because they're going to introduce themselves. And Fintan Murphey, who's a partner with, who works with Google. Actually, Fintan described what he actually does because I could have got that wrong already. But yesterday was interesting. We came to a sort of threshold event for the Chromium project. But Akashan, do you want to briefly say what you're doing and what you did yesterday?
Yeah. Hi, my name is Akshay. Yesterday we did. Last week we installed Chrome OS into a Windows machines in the library. Yesterday we let the staff experience the Chrome OS, yeah, and the couple students, yeah.
Couple of students, they're quite a few. It's good.
Yeah.
About 20, 25 or something like that, weren't they?
Yeah.
Okay. Clifford.
Hello.
Actually, I've already. Clifford. What did? What's Clifford then? Clifford. You want to describe what you did yesterday? All right, Clifford's programmer's hung again. Darren.
Hey.
All right, okay. I did mean to start with you actually, and I kind of went left to right on the screenshot. But did you want to describe how this all came about?
Yeah, basically, it first started with me just mucking about and just having a look at Chromium OS, and it was the Hex build, which I first saw, and I put it on an old machine, and it seemed to run quite well, and I thought, well, there might be some ground in this, because it was quite a sophisticated build, lots of glitches, but it kind of seemed to work, and then stumbled across a different developer build, which is Arnold the Bat, who seems to have taken over the reins. Once Hex sort of stopped building in, I think, 2011, and this chap Arnold the Bat has sort of taken over, and he's carried on building since then. And he does daily upbuilds as well, like every day. Yes, we tried those out, and that seemed to work. And then I went to show you, and as soon as I showed you, you kind of jumped up and down with joy, and then you kind of put me on to all these guys. So I've been working with them ever since, and what we did is we put a build together, and we, like some of the other guys just said, we basically put some in the learning centre, and we put some in the staff common room area, and they're just different builds of Chromium, and yeah, the idea is staff come along, try it out, and see if they like it.
Yeah, it was quite a happy coincidence because I have a group of students working with me on work experience, and we were going to do the usual, you know, how to use Google Apps and Google Plus and stuff like that. And then in the second week of the project, yeah, you were showing me your Chromium new stuff, and it just coincided with a project that the students could do,
Yeah.
Chromium. And they took up, I was quite impressed by the way they took up how, in fact, they called it the Age of Restoration, and we had this idea yesterday about the Chromium Challenge. What's the oldest machine that you could resurrect?
Yeah, well, actually, I've got one here. Actually, just sorry to interject, but it's probably quite good timing. I've got this machine here, which is an Acer Aspire 1 from 2008, which is a Windows XP machine, and it works fine. And that's today's build I've just put on there just now. That's all right.
All right, so
that's a pre-economic crash computer that's managed to run Chromium. That's impressive.
Yeah. Oh, okay. the magic of Hangout. Hey, Clifford, do you want to?
Out of breath by the sounds of it.
We had trouble with it. Do you want to describe your bit? Come in a bit and describe what you're doing.
Sorry, what was that, Martin?
Oh, Clifford describes what he was up to yesterday.
All right, Clifford, do you want to explain what he's up to?
Yeah, sure. Yesterday I was doing live demonstration, installing Chromium OS. The installation process takes about 7 minutes.
Were there any problems?
The only problem was connecting to the college guest network, really.
That's a good point, in fact, because yeah, Chromium is a web-based operating system, as Chromos is as well. And so yeah, you've got to have the web available to finish the install of them. If you've got a captive portal Wi-Fi network, you can't make the connection to the network before the install is finished. So you have to have a web put in. The college has got captive portals for both its visitor and guest network, so you have to have your machine ready to get on the web to put the password in. But what we do at the moment is use the college web key networks, which are for staff, and there's one that the technicians use for student machine. That's given me something to think about, Clifford, that there are a way, hopefully in the next, maybe over the summer, but certainly in the next maybe 6 months or something, a way to put a web key onto either the visitor or the guest network, so you don't have to use the captive portal. The captive portal is the splash page that you put your username and password into, and it hasn't got a web key to associate with, not on the guest one anyway.
Sorry, Ron. Just get there as well. Don't forget that as in the machine we've set up so far, what has happened, we've connected, obviously with desktops you don't need a web key, so we can just connect straight in via the Ethernet cable, so we can still get in. But also as well, obviously the machine's here, where the first login user is the admin. So what we're actually doing is we've created a college admin account, if you like, so we're logging into that. So as an administrator, I've been putting in the student web key, which is the college domain web key, so we can use and logged in as an admin to get those machines running. So in general, if anyone wanted to install it, the chance I'd probably do it at home more so than here, so that wouldn't be an issue. And if they were going to do it here, then it would be an issue. And that, like for example, for ICT students, that
your sound is bad, Darren. You have to get the laptop pointing at you or something. Your sound is very bad. Oh, that's better.
Yeah.
That's better.
Okay. Did you catch what I said then?
Just about, but I thought I'd better stop you because it was becoming inaudible for a bit.
Yeah, but what I was going to say was just generally speaking, with college machines and college devices, they'll be set up by administrators. So in terms of the web key, it would be us, IT, that would put them in. But in terms of students doing it, obviously they're more likely to do it at home. So it shouldn't be too big a deal. But like I was saying, for ICT students, it might be more of a challenge because they're going to need a web key. And like you say, the guest needs to go via the portal to actually access it. You get stuck at that point. But you can install with an Ethernet cable. So it will just ride on the Ethernet, so you could do it that way.
Yeah, we're interested. Fintan just mentioned, when we were talking about so far Darren has the Chromium challenge title then for the pre-economic crash computer. sorry, Fintan. It's obviously I think Clifford was having trouble with his Hangout, and so he ran down and it's obviously in the college, ran down and got online with Darren, who's there. I think the best. I think there's a point here as well, because if you use the cloud like this and you're all outside the college, you've got better aggregate gap bandwidth because you're all making separate connections. You know, the bandwidth can scale quite well. If you're all in one location, you know, you're using the pipe of that one location, and you've also got the.
I've found that before when I've been doing training with customers, and I might have 5 or 10 people in the same room. It can be very challenging to obviously do a demonstration of a Google Hangout with the people in the same room. It doesn't really work. But that's where stuff like the Chromebox for meetings comes in, or just having a setup whereby you've got a room with a wide-angle camera that maybe you could fit. I haven't got a super wide-angle camera, but I've got a fairly wide-angle, so I could fit 2 or 3 people.
Yeah, in fact, actually, Fintan, we've been doing that a little bit on site here already. Actually, we've just got a sort of HD camera, which we kind of set up on a sort of tripod in the corner of the room.
Yeah.
And kind of just about squeeze everyone in, and then we just do a hangout under one person.
Yeah, you're better off, and then you can buy stuff like Jabra do a nice little kind of speaker and mic system, and it connects via Bluetooth or USB, the USB connection as well.
Sorry, just I know we're hijacking Martin's thing here. How much does that sort of setup cost though? That the speaker and mic, because that's one of the things is we have to constantly rig it up to do it.
Yeah, I mean this little Jabra box that I got, I think this cost me 100 and something.
Alright. Okay.
No, sorry, it was less than 100.
Yeah, right. Alright.
I think it was €100, so maybe £80 or something like that.
That's good. That's good.
It wasn't too bad. I didn't think it was too bad. And then the wide-angle cameras. I mean, you know yourself with the webcams. You can spend 30, you can spend 50, you can spend 100. It just depends on the quality. But sound is something people don't think about when they're thinking about hanging. And it's really important because obviously nice video is fine if you can't hear the person.
Yeah. Well, that's what I've been using. Some sort of we've got these Zoom. I've got one somewhere, not to hand, but we've got these little Zoom field recorders, and they've got really nice mics on them, so they've got quite a good pickup. And we generally, when we do a hangout, we've done them before, so we've tested it, we've got, and it works. But obviously, it's a lot of different components. So something a bit more all-in-one is what I'm looking for, really.
Yeah. Have you guys heard of the Chromebox for meetings? Did you?
Yes. It's launched today in the UK, isn't it, Fintan? It's very.
Yeah, it's launched here now. What's interesting about it? I mean, obviously there's a cost associated with data management costs with Google, but what's interesting is they've pulled together a couple of different pieces of technology, and they, like one of the things they sell is this is part of the package, and then a wide-angle HD camera, and then a Chromebox and a remote, and so that's what, you know, relevant of what you think of the package Google are selling. That's what they feel is required for a good video conferencing setup. A good speaker microphone system, a good HD wide-angle camera, and maybe something like a Chromebox, you know, or a computer with Chromium on, you know.
I think I saw the cost for the peripherals, as you might call it. I think it was £178 for the.
It's $99. Yeah, it's $999 for the kit, whatever that is in pounds. But there's a $250 management fee in there that recurs annually. So that's if you buy the Chromebox for meetings. But I know people who've obviously set it up separately, but you lose the management features, which a lot of businesses want. You know,
it all reminds me of stuff. In the 90s, we used to use PictureTel, and the PictureTel used to prioritise the audio over the video. We used to have a nice tabletop mic, and the same thing applied there as we had with Darren. If you can't hear it, it doesn't matter how good the audio is. I'll just, before we go to Fintan, Akshan.
Yeah.
Hi. Now you've been present in all the video conferencing so far, and you've got on quite well. How has it been for you using Hangouts?
Oh, that is fine. It's awesome. I like it.
That's no problem, actually. You took to it like down to water. Yeah, I was quite impressed by the students. A lot of people in the college have asked, Hangouts, we need training. But we gave the Chromebooks to these students, and they opened the Chromebook, got online, got on the Hangouts. We had a Hangout, and there was no problem at all. No training, and self-learned piece of cake. We've got.
Has anyone, out of interest, has anyone done Hangouts or joined a Hangout from another device, like a mobile device or an iPad or a tablet?
Yeah.
Yeah, Darren, you have. And what have people found the experience to be like?
It works fine. In fact, one of the earliest Hangouts I had was off of my Android phone. I was walking down the street, and soon after, because I think my first Hangout was with you, Fintan, a couple of years ago. And just a couple of days after that, I was walking down the street. I was so excited, I told the technicians about it. And I got this strange noise I've never heard before from my Android. It wasn't the ringing. What's that? I opened it up, and luckily there was enough 3G in the area, you know. And there was a video call, and I did a video call with Juma Darren, and that was probably, I think, the second video call I had was on an Android, the old Android phone.
Yeah, I love doing it on my mobile or tablet. I have to say, I bring my iPad Mini with me, and then I have a headset. And so if I'm working on my laptop and I get a video call, I don't want the video call sort of using up my laptop because I generally want to work on something. So I'll join it on the iPad with the set of headphones, and then I can still work on the laptop. You know.
Yeah, yeah. So Darren, Fintan's on screen. He's the one who inspired you to work standing up. As you can see now, he's sitting down.
On my kneeling chair at the moment. Yeah, I'm not feeling that great though, so I'm feeling a bit tired after.
Yeah, it's interesting. Our team have all had standing desks at various times. Donald, actually, our operations director, is the only one who's stuck with it. But yeah, I have a back injury, so I had the standing desk for a long time, and I kind of got tired like that. It was getting a bit difficult, so I switched back to the sitting desk. Donald has a standing desk, but he's got a stool, so kind of like you're saying, like the
yeah, but I had a similar thing actually. I did my back in, so I had to stand, and then I was finding I was getting really. The first time I did it, I stood for the whole day.
Yeah.
And I thought, and it became a challenge, and I was like, no, I'm gonna see this through. And I basically went home, and I was absolutely exhausted because I'd just been standing all day long. But since then, what I do is I kind of alternate. I've got a kneeling chair.
Yeah, alternating, I think is.
Yeah, and I think that's the way to do it. And but even that, I've got a problem with the cartilage in my knee. So I can kneel down. Yeah, it's like damned if I do, damned if I don't. So I can only kneel in the chair for like an hour, 2 tops.
Maybe you need to build a system where you're maybe just suspended.
Yeah, I'll have a word with Martin.
Just sort of floating.
Yeah, I'm going to speak to Martin about that. I was kind of thinking a swing with a big cradle, that will just kind of,
Let me know how that works out. Maybe I'll try it next time.
Yeah. I'm sure Martin has got some money in his budget somewhere. So.
All right, we'll hand over to Fintan. I see that both of you have failed to go to the next level, which was the running work position, with the treadmill where you run.
Yeah, they're insane.
I think Fintan is indicating his next move, which is the sofa behind him and laying down. This is the one, isn't it? But, okay, Fintan, do you want to introduce? It's a bit late in the chat now. Do you want to introduce yourself?
Yeah, sure. So I'm Fintan Murphey. My company is Dams and Cloud, which you can see a poster up behind. And yeah, we're Google Apps partners. We're one of Google's premier partners, which means that Google have a set of partners that they work very closely with. And we would work with Google on opportunities for customers. We help customers move to Google Apps for business, do training, deployment, change management. And I suppose the big thing with our customers, I always say, is just that we're here to help. We're here to help them leverage the most from their kind of Google environment. That's our purpose, if you like. And we work with corporates, and we work with small businesses, and we work with education.
Where are you at the moment?
Say again?
Whereabouts are you?
I'm in sunny Dublin, which is, you don't normally get to say that, but it is actually 20 degrees today. And yeah, our team, we're a completely distributed team, so we work across Dublin, London, and we also have an offshore development team in Mumbai and India. So we use the Hangouts every day. This is our office, is the Google Hangouts.
Do you have an office? Do you have
no, we don't. We're a completely distributed team. We've no office at all. We used to, and we just got rid of it because generally nobody was in there because people were working from home so often, and our team is so distributed across different locations. We have a Regis office, so we can go in and use the Regis facilities, which is like a serviced office company. So I tend to go in there maybe 2 days a week, and then I work from home maybe 3 days a week.
Yeah, because you are a kind of work in progress for the decentralized organization, then, aren't you? That's,
well, it's interesting, and looking at the Google ecosystem, there's a lot of Google partners set up in this way, in this sort of distributed manner. I know the Dido guys in Dido Web in the US, they have 30, 40 staff now, and across the East Coast and West Coast of America, and they all work from home.
Yeah,
it's really interesting. We're not quite that big. We've less than a dozen staff, but it's interesting that like companies who are working from home and that sort of distributed system, it's becoming much more popular, and the sort of the idea of work is changing, and where work happens is changing, which is the whole thing that we're selling with Google, is that you can work from anywhere, and we're really trying to be an example of what you can do if you use this type of technology.
Yeah, it can be. Are you able to say who you're working with at the moment? What you're doing? Or is that kind of classified?
I'll go up there, Martin. Just say that again.
Are you able to say who you're working with, or what your work projects you're working on at the moment?
Yeah, sure. I can talk about some recent customers. Last year, we got a new customer called Shazam. You might have used their app on the iPhone. So they've been working with us last year. They deployed Google Apps. Other customers, Banham, the alarm system, Forward Internet Group, are a customer of ours. As you know, we work with Parking Dagenham College. John Newlands and his team. We've done some interesting stuff around Chrome, actually, and the students wanted to be able to develop on Chrome, and Raheem and the dev team built a way that they could do software development over a web browser. So it's quite interesting, because they were so into the Chromebooks, they didn't really want to move away from them. So, our projects kind of vary from sort of the very basic of a customer who just wants to move over to Google Apps and just wants some help with that, to more challenging projects where we're working with a retail customer at the moment, and they wanted to completely replace a retail system that they had using Google Forms. So using the scripting in Google Forms to automate functions and automate processes, we were able to essentially build an application around the Google Forms environment. So I'm sure you guys are familiar with Google Forms. So yeah, our projects, we like the kind of bespoke ones or challenging ones where a customer comes to us with a business challenge that they have, and we can use technology and Google's ecosystem to kind of build a solution around it. But we prefer the bespoke stuff rather than just the kind of vanilla flavored setup of I just want to move to Google Apps, which is generally where customers start, but then it's about where they continue their journey then afterwards. We had an interesting one at the start of the year where a cinema chain in Ireland, about 20-30 cinemas around the country, had moved over to Google Apps, and it was for the mail that they moved. They needed a new email system. But actually the more interesting part was the Google Hangouts and the Google Drive, that they've completely replaced their Dropbox that they were using before, and also using Google Hangouts to connect all of the 20 or 30 cinemas locations. And they used to have managers driving from place to place, and now they're able to just jump on a Hangout. It's a huge time saver and money saver for the organization. And those kind of stories are much more interesting than I replace my mail server.
Yeah.
Not an exciting one, but it's trying to find those interesting use cases.
Yeah, that's a good story, because it used to be the case. I replaced my mail server was a good story. Not 10 years, even 4 or 5 years ago with Google, but it's all moved on. It's usually you're doing the dev stuff. I mean,